What up, guys? It's your boy Malcolm McDowell, aka Kicks for Malcolm, and I want to talk about something that I picked up as I was doing homework tonight. So I'm taking this course called Brain Biology, which is just a course I got to get out of the way. Science, not really my favorite right now, but at the same time, while I was reading this book by Eric R. Kandel, if you can see that right there, The Disordered Mind. It kind of goes over some different things, rather talking about mental illness, talking about the way the brains work, the prefrontal cortex, and all these other different parts that are very hard to pronounce for me. But anyway, I was reading a section that was talking about emotions, where it discussed bipolar disorder, talked about depression, different things like that. And something I've always been really interested or intrigued about, because I've had, therapy and counseling and different things for depression and whatnot. And I'm not afraid to share those things here today. But one part of the chapter where I was reading, it said, children suppress, render unconscious the conflicts between early needs and prohibitions, as well as early traumas. These repressed feelings may result in symptoms of mental illness in adulthood. So what the chapter was talking about was that if these things aren't brought in check early, when people are children or when we're in adolescent stage or younger, these things could turn into something worse later. So mental illness and different things that we face don't happen in adulthood. It is from past traumas. And so I've already had the idea that I believed in this because I know that people are a product of their environment and the way they're raised and the way they experience emotion, love, fear, all these different things. And so this makes a lot of sense to me, but it made me reflect on a few key moments of my life when I think about depression. I know when I was in this program, when I got in a lot of trouble living in Nashville as a teenager, I was about 16 and a half or so. And I went to juvenile detention center for some stuff that I did. And eventually they decided not to let me out. So they put me in this place called Magnolia Boys Shelter, which was like a 2-month process. It ended up not being that bad of an experience. You're just living with a bunch of guys, bunk beds. Eventually I got to play Xbox and stuff like that, which I didn't have at home. So that was kind of a plus. But afterwards I got sent to this place called the Magnolia Wilderness Program, which I thought was punishment or hell in my mind. But anyway, we're living outside. We're wearing these army fatigue jackets, and we've got these Brahma boots, and we're walking around in these dirt clay trails every day carrying a water got like we're on a football team, and it's just guys everywhere. Eventually they brought girls and different things like that for the program, and the program determined based on your behavior. So you didn't get out until you had good behavior or you stepped up as a leader to get out. But anyway, during that phase, I didn't really want to be there. I didn't want to be outside. I didn't like bugs, and it was extremely hot. And we had to go through the winter as well. But to get to the point was I went through a phase of just feeling like God wasn't there. He didn't love me. I was just sad and just down all the time. And I was just like, why can't I just die? Why can't I just get out of this feeling? Because I felt like I escaped trauma from my childhood and experiencing and watching things that were horrific and things that were terrible for a child to see. But I ended up in this place for what I thought were for all the other bad people that wasn't me, but not knowing that it's my own fault that I was in there in the first place. But anyway, so during this phase, I had tried to attempt suicide a couple times, at least to get attention, not necessarily to hurt myself, but I thought about it. And I realized a lot of these pains and a lot of this suppressed emotion was stuff I had never spoken out publicly or shared with somebody until I eventually got a counselor. And I appreciate, just a shout out to the Prestons. I love the clothing line Jesus in Therapy, because I definitely love Jesus, and I know how to get in there with the Lord and worship and, and get those emotions off me when I need to. But I'm grateful for the therapists and the counselors. And I'm not acknowledging that I am a counselor by any means, or that I have any type of licensing or anything like that. I'm just sharing my experience and my opinion on the matter. And I felt like This is something that needs to be talked about. People aren't really open to talk about it, especially guys, I feel like, because I've talked to people at different programs, and most men are more afraid to come up and speak or share or even have counseling, acknowledge that there's a problem. And so this is mainly speaking to my men, but for anybody that needs to hear this, don't be afraid to get help. Don't be afraid to let somebody know when you're going through something hard. Don't be afraid to tell somebody when you're depressed or when you're stressed or when something's just too overwhelming and you can't handle it. So hopefully this was encouraging. I'm sure I'll have many more videos where probably some inspiring things happen during my homework sessions. But that's just something that was on my mind, and I felt like I needed to make a video and just kind of talk about it. So let me know if you got any questions, anything you want to post below. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Hopefully we got some shoe videos coming soon, trying to do some stuff around the house. So we'll see if we get to that as soon as we can. So be blessed. Hope to see you guys later.